Yeah, we're getting some significant breaking news in now. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is set to speak today directly to the UN Security Council. He's expected to say evidence on the ground now shows Russia is moving toward a, quote, imminent invasion of Ukraine.
Is your sense that this is going to happen now?
Yes. My sense this will happen within the next several days.
What does this mean?
What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we have a breaking news update, a lot unfolding for you this morning. This is your stimulus check update, Build Back Better, and breaking news update. Now, those of you that follow me here on the channel know I'm going to be keeping you up to date on everything going on with stimulus and Build Back Better, and I do have a brief update for you. But this morning, huge breaking news coming out as we're hearing that it looks like war is starting today between Ukraine and Russia. Now, I've got video footage from the president who's saying, yes, it looks like war will be emerging, and also an update as to what's unfolding. And we're seeing headlines coming out like this. Take a look, you guys. Russian forces violate the ceasefire, Ukrainian Defense Ministry says. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense said that its forces recorded 29 ceasefire violations by Russian occupation forces from midnight till 11 a.m. on Thursday, today. The ministry said that 27 of the violations were using weapons prohibited by the Minsk Protocol, the agreement that ended fighting between Russia and Ukraine in 2014. Take a look at this right here. Ukrainian kindergarten and school hit by Russian hybrid forces escalate hostilities all over Donbas. And you can see right there the kindergarten school that was hit by that shell. Now, also, like I said, we've got a brief update for you on Build Back Better. As Build Back Better stalls, faith leaders are calling upon President Biden and the Senate for a moment of courage on climate actions. So, you guys, I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. Like I said, I've got video footage and huge news today that it looks like war could be starting. It looks very likely, and we're going to get into all the details. So let's go ahead and dive right in. And I know that this is probably not the news that you want to hear, but if you could do me a quick favor, if you appreciate the updates, keeping you up to speed to everything that's going on, if you could smash the like button for me, just takes a second, helps out my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you'd like to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you gotta do is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and if you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in, and let's start off with some video footage of what President Joe Biden just said a little while ago this morning, and also a breaking news update on what's unfolding. Let's take a look.
Mr. President, how high is the threat of a Russian invasion right now?
It's very high.
Why?
It's very high because they have not moved any of their troops out. They've moved more troops in, number one. Number two, we have reason to believe that they are engaged in a false flag operation to have an excuse to go in. Every indication we have is they're prepared to go into Ukraine, attack Ukraine, number one. Number two, I've been waiting for a response from Putin for my letter, my response to him. It's come to that Moscow embassy. They're faxing it here. Not faxing it, they're sending it here. I have not read it yet. I cannot comment on it.
Have you been briefed on it in any way?
Oh,
yeah. Is your sense that this is going to happen now?
Yes. My sense this will happen within the next several days.
What does this mean? Is there any diplomatic path still available?
Yes, there is. There's a clear diplomatic path. That's why I asked Secretary Blinken to go to the United Nations and make his statement today. He'll lay out what that path is. I've laid out a path to Putin as well on, I think, Sunday. And so there is a path. There is a way through this.
Are you going to call Putin?
Will you speak to Putin?
Are you going to call Putin?
I'm not calling Putin. I have no plans to call Putin right now.
Do you think he's made a final decision, sir?
So there you have it, you guys. President Joe Biden saying it does look like war is going to be happening, and it will be official in the next couple days. Now, also, we heard that Secretary Blinken is going to be discussing the negotiations that could take place to avoid war. We're going to be hearing more on that. But also, let's take a look at reports coming out of what's unfolding this morning with all of these ceasefire violations and what's happening along the borders of Ukraine with more Russian troops lining up Let's take a look.
Yeah, we're getting some significant breaking news in now. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is set to speak today directly to the UN Security Council. He's expected to say evidence on the ground now shows Russia is moving toward a, quote, imminent invasion of Ukraine. The U.S. calling it a crucial moment. The goal of Blinken's address, we hear, will be to convey the gravity of the situation. So, Congressman, you serve on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Obviously, this is just breaking. We're getting this from the U.S. ambassador to the UN. She asked, Linda Thomas-Greenfield asked Secretary Blinken to come speak directly to the UN Security Council, calling this a, quote, imminent invasion. What's your reaction?
Well, it's about the worst news you can imagine. I'm actually getting on a plane this morning. I'm going to Munich for the security conference. A lot of us have been following this very closely. This is as serious as it gets. I hope people understand. We're talking about a World War II-style invasion of a massive land area in Central Europe. You're talking about tanks. You're talking about ballistic missiles, airstrikes, amphibious landings. I mean, if they actually go for Kiev from Belarus, you're talking about thousands of casualties, innocent people dying, huge disruptions in the world economy, and for nothing. And this is pure, naked aggression by a corrupt dictator in Moscow. And I give the president high marks for having a steel spine on this and rallying the allies and saying this is unacceptable. And we are going to make you pay a price. We are not defenseless. And we're going to do it in a way that's smart, and that's where we have the advantage. But you are going to regret doing this. But a lot of people are going to get killed, and it's going to be a disaster if he takes this decision. So, God willing, there's still time to avert it.
So, White House aides have indicated to me the president is being briefed on these developments as we speak. And I also want to get your reaction to this. Defense Secretary Austin is at NATO, and he just said, as we wait for the Secretary of State to talk to the UN, that they see intelligence that Russian forces are inching closer to the Ukrainian border and are stocking up on blood supplies, which, of course, is an ominous sign for potential invasion. At the 11th hour here, is there anything else diplomatically that the U.S. and its allies can do to ward this off? What would you recommend?
Well, at every step of this crisis, I think the West and the U.S. and our allies in NATO have been one step ahead of Vladimir Putin in terms of disclosing that kind of information so that we take the advantage away from him. Yeah. So I think that's very important. That's a very ominous sign, by the way, because those plasma and blood supplies are perishable. Yep. And it's one of those things you look at that it's not a drill. They're doing it, and it can't be right. It can't be much longer that they leave it there. So you really worry about a sign like that.
So there you have it, you guys. And they said in addition to troops lining up, they're also bringing over blood and plasma. And they said that is not a good sign because that's perishable, which means that they're planning on using that in the next couple of days if necessary. So I will be sure to keep you up to date as that unfolds, and I'll be sure to report to you whatever happens so you know what's going on. Now, in addition to that, like I said, we've got some updates on Build Back Better. Take a look, you guys, link in the description below. As Build Back Better stalls, faith leaders call on Biden and the Senate for a moment of courage on climate. Now, as you know, right now, negotiations are taking place between the president, Joe Manchin, leaders in Congress, Democrats. They're trying to all get on board. They're saying they're going to be revising, renaming the Build Back Better, trying to get provisions included that they all can agree upon and will be paid for, that will not add to debt and inflation, so that way they can provide additional provisions. And we're hearing many members saying that it will actually combat debt and inflation with tax increases that will help pay for it. Now, the article says that nearly 100 faith leaders, they have called on President Joe Biden and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to not abandon Democrats' sprawling Build Back Better agenda and its hundreds of billions of dollars to combat climate change, saying that this is a moment for courage as the bill has stalled and fallen behind other legislative priorities. We cannot delay enacting the Build Back Better Act. This vital legislation will protect our climate and put our nation on a path to climate justice, environmental justice, intergenerational justice. A coalition of 86 faith leaders of the nation, state, and local faith-based organizations and congregations wrote in a letter February 14th addressed to Biden, Schumer, and the full U.S. Senate. Signatories to the letter, the bulk from Christian and Jewish traditions, as well as numerous national and regional interfaith groups, said that they represent millions of people of faith and hundreds of thousands of faith communities. Among them were nearly 24 congregations of Catholic women, religious, and Leadership Conference of Women Religious, an umbrella group that represents approximately 80% of the Catholic sisters in the country. And this group right now of religious leaders, they're actually calling upon Congress to pass the Build Back Better Act, to pass these climate provisions to help out the environment. And in addition to that, we're going to be seeing if there's going to be any more direct payments going out to help out families with children, free childcare, all those provisions that they want to have included. We will see. I will keep you up to date here on the channel. But right now, an additional push to pass this stimulus package. And you guys, I will keep you up to date as more information unfolds. Whatever happens in Ukraine and Russia, I'll be sure to let you know here in the channel. And you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out my channel. I appreciate it. Just takes a second. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments. Share this out. To stay up to date, totally free to come join the Ram fam. All you got to do, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you're notified right away. And if you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Best way by far to get a hold of me. And consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.